comedians. Did you guys see Dana Carvey's new thing?
Oh, that's kind of. Are you calling him a bad female comedian?
I am, yeah.
So as a kid, I really liked.
You nodded like you were proud of yourself. I did say that.
As a kid, I really liked Dana Carvey. I like the stuff he did on Saturday Night Live. He's a fantastic impressionist, or at least he was, especially in the 90s. He had George H.W. Bush down. He had that. That was his, and he was great on SNL with that. I liked him in Wayne's World, and I have a little bit of sympathy for him in that I feel like Mike Myers really left him behind and really screwed him over because, he didn't include him in any of his great successes that continued on after SNL. And they were just a kind of a dynamic duo that really amplified each other and got Mike where they were with Wayne's World and all that other stuff. But man, that special was not good. I watched the whole thing. I didn't really chuckle much. I didn't care for his impressions. He did a bad Trump impression, and that's his thing, is that he was always a very good impressionist. The last special I watched from him I watched when I was 13, and he closes with this piano number, something, chop the broccoli, and I just remember dying laughing as a 13-year-old. But no, he doesn't do it for me anymore. That was not funny. It was just sad, and especially when you have it juxtaposed with Joe Rogan's new special over there, which is
great.
Killer.
Oh my god!
I was so surprised. Like I've always been on the side with Joe Rogan of like, he's great at inspiring conversation. He's a very interesting guy. I like how he is not afraid to. Yeah, UFC, he's good at that. He makes UFC better for someone like me. I like him. But his stand-up, I was always like, nah, that's not for me. I don't think it's very funny. I think it's more about him taking things too far, about how he thinks that like monkeys live on the moon or whatever it is. And it takes something that's really interesting in a conversation with a pseudo-expert on his podcast and makes it into not as funny a bit. This stand-up special was the best thing I've seen from him, bar none, as far as comedy.
It was fantastic. I find his stand-up is often like a tribute to how cool he thinks he is.
It's called Triggered.
Oh, right. That's what the stand-up special's called. Yeah, his stand-up is usually like, I'm so smart, I have this cool life, I have this cool experience, or this guy's so tough, and he just tells a story, and I don't like it. This one crushed it. I'm like, I'm trying to get my arms around it. Do I like it as much as any stand-up routine? Is it there with the Chris Rocks back in the day? Is it there with the Louis C.K. back when I thought he had the best stuff around? Right now, I don't know. Like, no one's done anything funnier than Joe Rogan's routine lately.
Bill Burr's is about to come out, and I guarantee hopefully it'll still be good. I mean,
the black and white one he did a while back really didn't do it for me. It was
neutered.
Yeah, the divorce will make Bill Burr funny.
Certainly have the divorce. If and when that does happen, which is, what is it, like more than half of all marriages end in divorce, so it's a pretty good chance.
I think that's a false statistic because of the people who have lots of divorces. I was looking. I heard that the other day.
I'm a fucking idiot. I never even considered that.
Look at our
no
world
one
leader.
had. Yeah, I hadn't considered it before either. But someone pointed that out the other. They're like, no, don't use that as an excuse for your marriage failing because half of them don't end in divorce. The majority succeed. It's just you've got these people out there having 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 repeat offenders. Sure.
Yeah, I forgot what I was talking about.
Bill Burr. Has a
Bill
routine,
Burr.
And I was saying
Bill Burr being tutored by his
he definitely,
marriage,
maybe? He still keeps to his. He used to do the thing where he says something controversial, and you're like, oh man, that was controversial. But he also said it in a very funny way. Now he's moving in a lot of ways to do that thing where you say something pretend controversial, and then you play it off as though that's edgy, like saying something, like, oh man, like fucking truckers, what a big group of idiots, like just something that nobody will get offended by, that it'll be fine, and then you play it off like, I'm just kidding, like I wouldn't actually do that, I'm not like that kind of stuff I don't like as much, but I have a lot of faith in Bill Burr because it's definitely not. He's one of my favorite. He is my favorite comedian. I'm looking at a picture of me and Bill Burr, a picture of Melissa and Bill Burr, and then a signed copy of Let It Go. And You People Are All the Same. I'm a big Bill Burr. I love Bill Burr, but it's definitely become palatable or noticeable over the past year and a half or so that he is getting way less risque and controversial. And maybe that's just him having his opinions change. I don't know. But if he does get divorced, that will make for a very, very, very funny stand-up special.
That'll be the best ever.
Big time. Yeah,
it would be the best of all time.
I've been listening to Jim and what's his name show
Jim
a
and
lot.
Sam.
Yeah, I've been listening to much less Stern. I find myself turning Stern off a lot. and going over to Jimmy's show. It's on just a couple stations higher. I went ahead and made it. The number one preset is Stern. Number two preset is Stern's second channel. Number 3 is Jimmy now. So I've been listening to their stuff a lot more.
What an honor.
I'm glad you're liking it. Jimmy is like the funniest. He's the best person for the audio format and the whole radio style.
You call him
because he's the
ugly?
most. He is not a. He's a worm. He's a wormy guy.
He's like, I hope you like a guy with a weak chin who blinks a lot.
Yeah, he makes fun of himself brilliantly, and he also has the quickest wit of, honestly, I think anyone on the planet.
Yeah,
Nobody
the quickest.
is close. I listen to a lot of old O&A stuff where it's like, they would have huge comedians in all the time. Like they'd have Amy Schumer in there. It's like 2006, 2005. Like Amy Schumer, Joe Rogan, Louis C.K., Patrice O'Neill, God rest his soul, Bill Burr, and of all of them, they're all very funny comedians, with the exception of Amy Schumer. And Jim Norton is out like classing everyone as far as the